Communications Incorporated.
Welcome to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 WINS WHNZ, offering support for those who care for a loved one. A show that cares about you and supports and encourages you, the caregiver. Here's your host, Kim Lind.
See the two little ladies standing in the middle? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Caregiver Hour radio show live here at the Palms of Largo in Largo, Florida. Let's hear it. Oh my God, this is our first ever on the road show, and we are so excited and thankful to be here today. If you are a caregiver, you're in for a wonderful show. It's live, it's outside the studio, and you're going to be meeting some wonderful people who are going to talk about the art of healing. And for caregivers, that's so important. We take care of so many people all the time. How nice it is to learn how to take care of ourselves as well. And that's what the show is all about. It's about the balance. It's about always knowing your information, your resources and guidance of how to take care of your loved one who's so important to you. But it's also important to take care of yourself. And we normally talk about the mind, the body, and the spirit, and how it's so important to integrate that into the overall wellness of you. And we've got some fabulous guests today, such a special show. Our guests are Marcy Sadorf, who is an RM, and a CMC, a clinical liaison at the Palms of Largo, and John Young, he's an MD and integrative practitioner at Young Foundational Health Center here in Largo, Florida as well. And then we also have a guest, Kathy Poston, who's an RN, Director of Nursing at Harmony Home Health, one of our loyal sponsors. So we've got a great cast of characters here for you today, but we also want to thank our special sponsors. One of them is Adrienne Everett, who is the marketing director here at the Palms of Largo. She and I have been friends for probably 12 years, and she does such a wonderful job here. And to have the vision to be bringing this show here at the Palms of Largo is such a gift. So, Adrienne, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing it to us for the first time ever.
Yeah, very exciting. So for people who don't know what the Palms of Largo is, can you give us an idea of what you do here?
Right.
And your whole team?
We're quite a large team. We're an 88-acre campus that includes all aspects of senior living. We have independent living at Royal Palms, assisted living and memory care at Regal Palms, assisted living with an extended license and memory care at Cypress Palms. We have a home health agency, Able Palms, which is private duty and Medicare. We have Sable Palms, which is our long-term care skilled facility. And we also have 2 apartment complexes on either side of us, one of 55 plus at Imperial Palms and then family living at Silver Palms.
That's for someone who isn't visually here, it can be a little overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So I think what they would want to do is definitely visit your website, so maybe you can give them your website and also your phone number in case they want to make a call and set up a tour.
Absolutely, and you can stop by anytime. You don't need to make a call, but the website is www.thepalmsoflargo.com, and the main number to the campus is 727-437-1600.
Well, I think we also want to highlight, you just had a grand opening or reopening of a beautiful, the Pearl Essence Center, which is a dementia area for women only. Tell us a little more about that.
Yes, thank you, Kim. We just grand opened our women's only memory care environment, which is located in Cypress Palms. It's 36 units. It's grown in the number of units and people that we can now serve, and it's beautiful. So if you haven't been over to Cypress, please, anytime today, any day, stop by, go take a tour. It is amazing.
So I do encourage you, because I did come to the grand reopening, and if you are a professional caregiver or a family caregiver and you just want to know what's happening, what's the latest, you definitely want to visit the Palms of Largo. And it's Cypress Palms, and it's Pearl Essence. Mm-hmm. So you want to do that. So why don't we give them your phone number one more time?
727-437-1600 is the main line.
Thank you so much, Adrienne.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we also have a wonderful woman who is on the show once a month. Tina Costa is the regional director of Arcadia Home Care and Staffing. So we're so happy that you're here today, Tina.
I'm happy to be here, too.
Yeah, I know. This is awesome.
It is. It is good. I was with you. I don't think it was the first show,
when you went live on
Right.
the web, but I think it was the second one.
Yes.
So that's good enough.
Yeah.
That's close to first. So yeah.
I say so.
It's been quite a journey with you for the last
thank
few years.
you. I did say you are Tina Costa, Regional Sales Manager, Florida,
Yes.
for Arcadia Home Care and Staffing. I just wanted to make that correction. And so how is it going for you this morning?
It's going really good.
Did
I'm
you meet
having
some new
fun
people?
already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Some
great.
people I know, and they
Yeah?
actually still wanted to talk to me, even though they know me. And some new people that aren't smart enough to know not to talk to me. So.
Yeah, we didn't give them the code.
No, you didn't give
No,
them the
no.
411. No.
We did not. But we did give them this beautiful fan so they can fan themselves while they're sitting here.
And guess what it has on it? The Caregiver Hour. Yeah,
Yes.
imagine that.
So Tina, why don't you tell us about Arcadia Home Care and Staffing and all the wonderful things that you do for family caregivers as well as their loved ones?
Okay, well, basically, our goal is to help people remain healthy and independent wherever they call home. It can be the house that they raised their family in, it can be the house that they grew up in, it can be an assisted living community, in all of the places here that the Palms of Largo have. We go anywhere to do that. And it can be something as simple as companionship, so they're not alone, to maybe keep them mentally stimulated, safety to prevent them from falling, and then we also do the personal care and grooming and housekeeping and all that kind of stuff as well.
Don't you also have a program that helps people who are being admitted from, not admitted, but more
Going
discharged from the hospital
Correct.
back to home
Yeah, we
to
have-
a setting that sometimes not is always the safest or the most well prepared for someone? Because
Correct.
sometimes they're going to the hospital in an emergency situation and all of a sudden now they're being discharged from the hospital and what's at home waiting for
Right.
them?
Well, we have two transition programs. One is getting them from a hospital or a rehab back into home. Because we all know with the way the healthcare system is going now, you don't want to be readmitted within 30 days. That's
Right.
the key. So it's partnering to make sure that they're eating well, they're taking their medications, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing to keep them at home. And then the other program we have is a house-to-home transition program, which is getting them from where their current house is, wherever that may be, into their new home, which may be an assisted living community,
Okay.
maybe into an independent retirement community, just kind of like a buddy person, someone that helps them get familiar with it. For example, if someone were leaving their home and coming to move in here at the Palms, the same caregiver would go with them, get them accompanied to different social activities, events, get them familiar with the lay of the land so they don't have to go places alone. I think it helps in the socialization process and hopefully helps them be happy in their new place.
Yes, making the transition and adaptation is so important. Don't you agree, Adrienne? I'm sure you see that
Absolutely.
here at the Palms of Largo. You want it to be a successful transition for anyone who's making that change and supporting the family as well.
Right, especially if they're coming alone. You know,
Right.
they may have lost their partner recently.
Right.
So they are used to having somebody with them all the time. You throw them into an environment where there's obviously lots of activities,
Right.
fun stuff to do, tons of new faces. They may not feel comfortable going into a new environment all by
Right.
themselves. But if they've got that caregiver, that person they're familiar with, and it's not meant to be a forever thing. There's an
Right.
exit strategy. It's a plan we meet with the family and set up, okay, we're going to do a few days this week, a couple of days next week, one day the following week, and then we're out.
That's
hopefully.
great.
So.
Well, I think that's a very needed service, and that's excellent. And it also gives the family caregiver peace of mind, whether they're local or long distance. So
Correct,
Thank you so
exactly.
much, Tina.
You're
If someone
welcome.
wants more information, how do they get in touch with you?
They can call our office number in St. Pete, and our St. Pete office covers all of Pasco and Pinellas, and it's 727-579-9414, and they can also go to the website. Arcadia is a national company. We're independently owned by one man that actually used to work for Arcadia years ago. We've got offices all over the country, so they can just go to www.arcadiahomecare.com, pick your state, pick your city, and go and find the office and learn all about it. Each office also has, like St. Pete has their own page, Tampa has their own page, so it's really nice if you want to learn specifically about
Right.
that particular office.
Perfect. So, Bill Rambam, you've been with me since the very beginning. What a gentleman you are.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being a loyal sponsor from day one. So tell us more about your practice. We talk about elder law attorney and the importance of having those legal documents over and over again. And I know many of our listeners have come to see you as a result.
Yeah. Now that we share office space, you
That's
can keep
right.
up with that. So if you don't know
see
where
us
I'm
both.
located, just
Right, just
find
come see
Kim
me.
and
Right.
she'll yell at me across the hall. This month I'm celebrating 34 years as a lawyer.
Congratulations.
Since 1983, I've been in Clearwater the whole time, moved around a little bit, but my office is on US 19 in the countryside area. I do just about anything that helps elderly people. Mostly elderly people is my clientele, but I do other work for other people. I'm accredited by the VA. I do Medicaid work, Social Security, disability. I do estate planning documents. I do probate. I do guardianship. I do long-term care planning, asset protection. So I really cover most of the ground. My clientele is mostly retirement age population. And it's just the people I like to deal with. It's a real pleasure to be able to represent those people and help them out.
So tell me, what are caregivers coming and asking you about? Are they waiting to the last minute to get the legal documents done? Or are there some changes going on? Like, tell us, who is the caregiver that comes to see you and what are they asking for, Bill?
Sure. Well, a lot of times, I might meet with a wife to talk about her husband who's starting to have problems.
Okay.
Or vice versa. A lot of times it's children who are down to visit the parents and realize their parents aren't doing very well, and they need to talk about what the future is going to be like. So it's really, a lot of cases, unfortunately, it really is kind of last minute stuff. But there are some things we can do for people in advance in terms of making sure they have the proper legal documents. Very important, because if you don't have those, it can be a catastrophic mistake when it comes time to actually have to do some of these
Right.
things.
So now you're in a panic about that as well.
Sure. Or you can't do them because the person's not capable of signing the proper documents. And then it can be very expensive to fix that problem, or maybe it's not fixable at all. But if people do the proper planning and they meet with me, and there's usually a lot of things we can do to help preserve assets and put them in the right setting. A lot of mine is just counseling people on what's the best place for your parents. Is it assisted living?
Right.
Is it bringing people into the house to help take care of them? Is it skilled nursing? So I really get into a lot of that type of counseling. It's not always about moving assets around. And sometimes it's just helping them make a decision.
Well, that's so important because they are having a difficult time making so many decisions all at the same time.
Sure.
And it sounds like, and this is one of the reasons why I think you and I have aligned each other with each other in the community, is because I know you go to that extra mile to really find out what is going to be best for that person, not just short term, but long term. But I know even when you helped us with our legal documents for my in-laws and my family, that you really have a great heart and you really do the right thing.
Thank
and
you.
You've guided us continually, so we do appreciate that. If someone wants to get
Sure.
and I want to say this, do you offer a free consult
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time to have someone come in and just get an overview of what needs to happen?
Always do a free consult. We always, like to find out what we're going to be doing before we tell people what it's going to cost them, so they always have that opportunity to know what it's going to cost
Okay.
firsthand. Location-wise, I'm on US 19, about a mile north of the Countryside Mall. The office is in the Countryside Professional Center. My phone number is 727-781-5357, and we're on the internet at rambaumlaw.com.
That's wonderful. So I want to thank all of you again for being a sponsor today. We're going to have a great presentation during the show. We've got some great people. I've known Marcy Sadorf for probably, she's smiling at me in the audience. We've probably known each other a good 12 years as well. We do really well with connecting with each other, trying to help the community together, and Marcy is this clinical liaison here at the Palms of Largo. So she's going to be on with her brother. Yes, her brother is Dr. John Tall Young. Dr. John Young is very tall and very handsome, and we're so happy that he's going to be here today. He's a medical doctor and integrative practitioner at the Young Foundational Health Center here in Largo. And if you have any kind of concerns about how to really integrate having a doctor and integrate other different modalities of how to take care of yourself for optimal health, Dr. Young is your gentleman, your doctor, and we're so thrilled he's going to be here today. And Kathy Poston, who's an RN Director of Nursing at Harmony Home Health, is also going to be here today, really talking about how this company helps the caregiver and their loved one in different types of situations where they need care. We're so thrilled to be here today. It's beautiful. The weather, I prayed for a whole month that the weather would just be nice and cool and perfect, and the universe responded so well because no one is using their fan. So I guess that everyone just feels so cool and comfortable, which is a beautiful thing. I just wanted to, again, really emphasize that the radio show has been on, it'll be 4 years that it'll be on next month. So we've done some groundbreaking events. We do groundbreaking interviews. We help people live holistically. That means the whole person, about how to take care of themselves holistically as well as their loved ones. And I have to tell you, we've added on a helpline. This helpline is available 24/7. People call us and they let us know that they need help. That toll-free number is 1-877-552-4950. Stay with us as we come back. It's Kim Linder from the Caregiver Hour radio show.
Caregiving can be an overwhelming and stressful experience. Aston Gardens, Tampa Bay's premier senior living community, is excited to be able to support those who care for others. Please join them the third Thursdays of the month at 5:30 p.m. to learn creative problem-solving techniques and caregiving ideas from others who have been in your shoes. Aston Gardens specializes in independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Chosen for the third year in a row by the U.S. Commerce Association for the Best of Tampa Bay Award in residential care. Call 813-855-2811 or visit AstonGardens.com for more info.
Injured in a car accident or suffering from back and joint pain for a while? Clearly, you need to see a doctor. Call Dr. Ben, a chiropractor with 25 years experience. He listens, he cares, he gets results. His common sense approach? Coaching patients to be self-sufficient and less doctor-dependent. Let's face it, there are many things you can do to improve your health. Call Dr. Ben at 727-488-8044. Mention the Caregiver Hour radio show for a free examination. 727-488-8044. Dr. Ben, your coach to better health. 727-488-8044.
St. Joseph's John Knox Village of Tampa Bay, Tampa's premier retirement community, is part of the Baycare Health System. John Knox Village is known for its successful aging lifestyle, along with spacious apartments. John Knox Village offers a wide range of activities to fill one's life spiritually, physically, mentally, educationally, and nutritionally. In addition, every level of care is available to meet the needs of the aging population. John Knox Village, comfortable, casual, and secure for life. To schedule a tour, call 1-800-272-5669.
Caregiving has gotten harder and more complicated, even as families have more and more demands on their time. That's why AARP is here to help caregivers with the tools, information, and support they need to care for their loved ones and themselves. Check out aarp.org/caregiving to connect with other caregivers like yourself and find the resources you need. Visit the AARP Caregiver Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Caregivers, are you worried about mom or dad needing more care? How do you know when it's time to get help? Since 2004, Harmony Home Health has helped seniors in Tampa Bay find joy in their journey. You'd be amazed at how just a little bit of care can go a very long way. From just once in a while to every day of the week, your loved ones experience independence, safety, and dignity wherever they call home, and your whole family experiences harmony. With Harmony Home Health, you are not alone. You can trust their family to take care of yours. Call 727-723-7532 or visit their website at harmonyhh.com/Kim.
It's the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ with encouragement, guidance, and support for caregivers. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Okay, and then we want to cut that, and then we're going to come to John.
Okay. How long do I have?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Caregiver Hour radio show. We're here live on location here at Palms of Largo in Largo, Florida. So if you're living up north or anywhere else in the world, you want to move to Largo. It is just gorgeous, and Palms of Largo is one of those places where if you're looking for retirement, you want to be sure to check them out online. They are a beautiful community with different levels of care and acreage of land for you to be able to walk and enjoy and socialize and really live a beautiful quality of life. And one of their representatives is here, and her name is Marcy Sadorf. And Marcy, you're a clinical liaison here at the Palms of Largo, and welcome to the radio show.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Kim.
It really is. So, Marcy, tell us about what you do here at the Palms of Largo.
This is a very unique position that we've created at the Palms of Largo. As a clinical liaison, I'm able to use my roles as a registered nurse and a professional geriatric care manager to help the residents when a crisis occurs. Usually that crisis is as a resident here at the Palms of Largo, they end up going to the hospital. And if the family lives out of town, who's advocating for them? Who's helping them through this crisis? So that is when I step in and help walk them through what's going on. Finding out from the nurses here at the Palms of Largo, what was their prior level of function? What was going on? How were they functioning? What ended up sending them to the hospital?
Right.
Is the family out of town? Let me communicate with the family. And then also communicating with the nurses, the physicians in the hospital, the care managers in the hospital.
Well, that's pretty brilliant because that's someone who's thinking it all through for for your staff, so that you know what's happening with your patient or your resident,
Right.
But also for the person who is now at the hospital and fearful, or at some other location where they need help, and then for the family caregiver, because I'm always going to circle back to how that's going to affect the family caregiver,
Right.
because they are part of the cycle of care, and to give them that report from you being that clinical liaison is so important, because you're the eyes and the ears and the medical person to interpret what's happening.
Right.
I remember having my mother-in-law at Miss Countryside Hospital, and she was hallucinating, and I had no idea what to do. I had to hire a geriatric care manager to help me understand medically what was happening, so we could make important decisions that were
Exactly.
informed, so I can understand the importance of what you do. Let's just really briefly, because I want to get to Dr. John Young, is just the art of healing. What does that mean to you as a nurse?
So much of that is advocacy. I've been a nurse for 38 years, and as I have walked through people's lives, helping them through crises, medical crises, being their advocate and giving them alternatives to different ways of handling the situation.
Okay.
And that helps them get into the healing process, because sometimes they're just stuck in one mode and can't think outside the box.
I get it. So, Dr. John Young, we are so thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to the Caregiver Hour radio show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We know that you're brother and sister, but to have you here together is pretty special for us. And as a medical doctor and integrative practitioner, tell us what the art of healing means to you, and maybe a little more about your practice, so people get a sense of who you are and what you do.
Well, it's changed over the years.
Okay.
Because when I first started out into medicine, the art of healing meant I give them these drugs and then hope for the best. And I remember my residency up at Marshall University in West Virginia, that I was in the VA system for about 8 months, and I said to my chief resident one day, I said, Bob, you ever notice that these VA guys, they just keep coming in and out every 6 to 8 weeks, and we're never really getting anybody better? What if we tried something really wild? What if we tried to actually cure these guys? And Bob looked at me and said, John, you want to get through your residency? Yeah. Then shut up and do what everybody else does. 30 seconds. So I did that, and then later on I went off to Africa and did some study there, and I had an experience with a witch doctor, and basically, long story short is this: the witch doctor did better than I did with his patients.
Oh my God, this is the perfect time that we are closing this segment, so you want to stay tuned and listen to more what Dr. John has to say, and to Marcy Sadorf. I'm Kim Linder. You're listening to the Caregiver Hour on 1250 WINS WHNZ. NZ.
If you or a loved one experience bladder control problems, here's important news.
For more than 5 years now, the nice ladies at the Caregiver Partnership have taken the time to understand my needs, suggest the best choices of bladder control products for me, and always get the right product delivered to my door fast and with free shipping.
To get started, simply call 800-985-1353 for your free catalog and $60 in coupons. Many people just like you trust the Caregiver Partnership for convenient home delivery of bladder control products, and they have more than 500 to choose from. Call now. The call is free, shipping is free, and your satisfaction is guaranteed.
The Caregiver Partnership treats me like family and really knows their stuff, and they keep my business. private.
Call 1-800-985-1353 now to receive your free catalog with $60 in coupons. That's 1-800-985-1353. Call now. The voice in the preceding advertisement is not the voice of an actual customer.
I'm Mike Lavoie with Beacon Asset Management. While 30 years of experience in financial services may have prepared me to be a certified financial planner, no amount of planning could have prepared me for the stress of being a caregiver. The financial planning my dad and I did when my mother became ill made caring for her bearable. At Beacon, we are committed to helping you take care of your financial needs so you can take care of your loved ones. Give us a call at 813-269-0732. 813-269-0732.
Your home is where you feel relaxed, safe, and secure. Arcadia Home Care understands that you want to maintain that freedom and independence, even though you may be recuperating from an injury, illness, or simply require a little support with daily activities of living. You create a plan for your life as you envision it, and you can rest assured Arcadia will provide companionship, personal care, housekeeping, shopping, and errands, or whatever you need. They deliver their services with compassion, dependability, and professionalism. Their caregivers are screened, bonded, and insured, and must meet rigorous hiring standards, so you are confident you're receiving the best care possible for you or your loved one. Visit ArcadiaHomeCare.com or call St. Petersburg at 727-579-9414 to schedule your free in-home assessment and learn how Arcadia can enhance your quality of life while helping you stay at home and healthier longer. Call Arcadia Home Care, 727-579-9414, providing quality services since 1978.
Caring for an elderly parent or a loved one with special needs can be challenging, stressful, and frustrating. If you need help finding the best professionals in the field of home care, legal advice, integrated practitioners, respite care, or a great support group, call the Caregiver Helpline at 1-877-552-4950. That's 1-877-552-4950. It's a free service provided by the Caregiver Resource Network. Call 1-877-552-4950 or go to thecaregiverhour.com. Hi, it's Kim Linder from the Caregiver Hour. I want to tell you about an attorney in Clearwater that I have known for over 7 years. His name is Bill Rambaum, and I have referred many families to him for his legal expertise. Bill is one of less than 100 attorneys to be evaluated by the Florida Bar and become certified as a specialist in elder law. His 30 years of experience and impeccable credentials make him one of the most highly regarded legal experts in our area. Give Bill a call today at 727-781-5357 or visit rambaumlaw.com. Non-attorney spokesperson.
It's the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ with encouragement, guidance, and support for caregivers. Here's your host, Kim Lynn.
You just tuned in or just are watching us now live web stream. We are live here on location, first ever at the Palms of Largo, and I'm so grateful for the team at Palms of Largo and the Clear Channel radio station, my producer Steve Armstrong, and Chris, who's here with us today to make this all happen, and so many of our wonderful sponsors. One of our loyal sponsors is Harmony Home Health, and we're so pleased that Kathy Poston is here today to be with us and really talk about Harmony Home Health and then what you do as a nurse.
Okay.
Because you guys are very important to us in the healthcare field and for family caregivers.
Okay. Thank you, Kim, for having us.
You're
We
welcome.
really appreciate
Welcome.
Just primarily what we do in the home care industry is provide the hands-on care and the assistive supportive services for individuals, but most importantly is being able to give them their dignity for as long as humanly possible.
Okay. That's so important because so many people, they talk about people being, their loved ones being in institutions. We don't call them institutions, but people do. It's an old time frame. We talk of it being facilities and even communities. And they do feel that they do lose their dignity once they move into that setting, unfortunately. And it's not true. It's not, that's an old thought. But so many people are trying to stay at home these days. Tell us more about that.
We provide them with home health aides and companion care, and they go out into the homes and just function as their arms or legs, or sometimes even their mind, their thought
Yes.
processes.
Let's just talk about that for a second. Let your staff, is your staff screened? We're educating people as we're speaking because there's so many family caregivers that don't really understand the difference between home health and home care, and we're trying to let them know the quality of people that you attract who take care of their loved ones in their home.
Sure.
So what kind of screenings do you do?
We do background checks. We have to have 2 positive references. They come in and they actually exhibit the skills that they have for me as the director of nurses, or my nurse Ashley, who's on board with us. And then we put them through an extensive 4.5, 5-hour orientation process before they're even then allowed to go out into the homes. We're bonded and insured. Then we go out as nurses at least once quarterly to witness what care they're providing and to make sure that they are functioning up to standard.
That's important. Mm-hmm.
And in doing that visit, we also are touching base with the clients and their family members too, to be sure that they're happy, that things are going the way they want things to do. The nurses develop a plan of care for these home health aides, but we do that with the family and with the caregivers involved, so that it's not we're writing a set of rules for you. It's they're dictating their own care.
So it's very personalized care. That's so important. So the other thing about Harmony, and I do know the owners very well for a very long time, Jonathan and Melanie Bowman, but also you go the extra mile to talk about the caregiver. So let's talk a little about that. Linda Burhans is an excellent, fabulous caregiver advocate out in our community, running so many different support groups, people coming to her and asking her to speak at different events because she's a fabulous keynote speaker. But she's always at the heart of the caregiver. And let's talk a little more about that.
Linda, when we go out as the nurses and we're interacting with the clients and our employees and the caregivers for the clients, anytime there's a need, anytime there's something that's going on with them emotionally and they just don't know where to go, don't have anybody to talk to, we just come back to the office, let Linda know what's going on, and Linda reaches out to them and provides that camaraderie and the support and the help for them. And having been a nurse for 30 years and worked in this industry for a long time, this is the first agency I've worked for that has that added value, and it's phenomenal.
Do you hear the pattern that is going on with all the guests on this show today? They're all focused on the family member who needs the care and the caregiver in such an in-depth and caring way. And that is really why I have this show, Kathy, because it takes a village. It takes working together as a community to let people know that we care, that we have knowledge, that we have information, and we have guidance from them from all sorts of different resources. There's no one here that says they are the king and queen of caregiving. We all participate in this journey, and you're just a part of this. And I'm just listening to what Dr. John had to say, Dr. John Young, and Marcy Sadorf, and Tina Costa, and Bill Rambam, and it just shows to me, and even Adrian, how our culture here down in Florida, down in the Largo area in particular, the Pinellas and Tampa Bay area really does care about caregivers. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we have so much more going on because Dr. John Young is coming back with Marcy to talk about the art of healing. I'm Kim Linder, your host of the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ.
Stressful experience, Aston Gardens, Tampa Bay's premier senior living community, is excited to be able to support those who care for others. Please join them the third Thursdays of the month at 5:30 p.m. to learn creative problem-solving techniques and caregiving ideas from others who have been in your shoes. Aston Gardens specializes in independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Chosen for the third year in a row by the U.S. Commerce Association for the Best of Tampa Bay Award in residential care. Call 813-855-2811 or visit AstonGardens.com for more info.
Injured in a car accident or suffering from back and joint pain for a while? Clearly, you need to see a doctor. Call Dr. Ben, a chiropractor with 25 years experience. He listens, he cares, he gets results. His common sense approach? Coaching patients to be self-sufficient and less doctor dependent. Let's face it, there are many things you can do to improve your health. Call Dr. Ben at 727-488-8044. Mention the Caregiver Hour radio show for a free examination. 727-488-8044. Dr. Ben, your coach to better health. 727-488-8044.
St. Joseph's John Knox Village of Tampa Bay, Tampa's premier retirement community, is part of the Baycare Health System. John Knox Village is known for its successful aging lifestyle, along with spacious apartments. John Knox Village offers a wide range of activities to fill one's life spiritually, physically, mentally, educationally, and nutritionally. In addition, every level of care is available to meet the needs of the aging population. John Knox Village. Comfortable, casual, and secure for life. To schedule a tour, call 1-800-272-5669.
Caregiving has gotten harder and more complicated, even as families have more and more demands on their time. That's why AARP is here to help caregivers with the tools, information, and support they need to care for their loved ones and themselves. Check out aarp.org/caregiving to connect with other caregivers like yourself and find the resources you need. Visit the AARP Caregiver Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Caregivers, are you worried about mom or dad needing more care? How do you know when it's time to get help? Since 2004, Harmony Home Health has helped seniors in Tampa Bay find joy in their journey. You'd be amazed at how just a little bit of care can go a very long way. From just once in a while to every day of the week. Your loved ones experience independence, safety, and dignity wherever they call home. And your whole family experiences harmony. With Harmony Home Health, you are not alone. You can trust their family to take care of yours. Call 727-723-7532 or visit their website at harmonyhh.com/Kim.
It's the Caregiver Hour on 1250 Wins WHNZ with encouragement, guidance, and support for caregivers. Here's your host, Kim Linder.
Leave your headset on. No, he can hear you. He couldn't hear you when you were moving the mic around. That's why we were just.
And welcome back to this rip-roaring, fantastic first ever roadshow here on location outside of the Clear Channel radio station where I usually am every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon. I'm here today at the beautiful Palms of Largo, and we are so grateful to be here. I just want to let you know this show, the purpose of this show, just in case you just tuned in, is to really help caregivers create balance in their lives. We've got this beautiful live audience here and sponsors and vendors here to provide information, resources, and guidance to our caregivers. We have them as radio sponsors every week, but we also had some special ones that said, you know what, we want to be part of this special event, and we are so grateful. Before we get to Dr. John Young and Marcy, I just want to let you know that one of the residents here at Palms of Largo has texted me. They said someone called wanting to see if they could leave brochures or anything that for them, and his name is Cliff Thompson, and he lives in the Palms, and he wanted to pick them up later today. So Marcy, could you gather some brochures for some of the residents who are living here? Perhaps they were not able to come to the event, but they want the information. So how beautiful technology is. Isn't that awesome? So we have one of our Palms of Largo residents watching the show. You know, I'm so thrilled to be here today, and again, thank you so much for this wonderful audience of friends and family and professional healthcare providers to be with us. I want to get back to really the art of healing. And Dr. John Young, you were helping us, you were teasing us with a story, I could tell, of where you had your moment, your aha moment, that you wanted to do something different in the medical field.
Right. I was in Swaziland, which is in between Mozambique and Republic of South Africa, working at a hospital. And a large pharmaceutical company had donated hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of medicines for me to take over. And so they said, John, we've got a patient that we just can't control his blood pressure. And this company had just come out with a new blood pressure pill. And I said, sure, I'll see him. And so I saw him, I put him on the medicine, and I said, all right, Matwetwa, I want to see you back in about three weeks, see how you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he never showed up. And a few weeks later, I'm in the hospital, and the witch doctor's in this hospital, because in Africa, witch doctors also have hospital privileges. And I saw him, I said, Matwetwa, you never followed up, how are the pills doing? Well, John, I wanted to get better. I don't want to take pills for the rest of my life. So I went to the witch doctor, and he gave me something, and I've never had problems since. And that's when it really dawned on me that, listen, why did I really go into medicine? To get people better. I actually have to work harder when I'm in Africa working as a physician than I do in America. Because in America, I give the patients medicine and just kind of prolong your, march to death, and you guys are happy. In Africa, they don't have refrigeration. They have to get better, or else they actually die. So I work harder over there than I do here in America. We've kind of gone for second best, and it's kind of sad.
So how do you then make all of having that awareness and now taking it to the art of healing and integrative medicine?
All right, what I did is I basically said this. What did the old guys of medicine do years and years ago? And it was basically basic biochemistry and physiology. It doesn't change over the last 100 years. We're still who we are. And I looked at, Myers at Johns Hopkins, Klinner at Duke, Cathcart at, Mayo Clinic, and realized that those guys, first of all, they laid a foundation. Before you have a big house or a small house, you all get a foundation. And I learned really to lay a foundation, and I did that, a certain way to remake the cell membrane. And then I found out you do some basic things, and you can make tremendous differences in people. I think, you have the Alzheimer's unit here, and, for a lot of doctors, it's like, honey, you're demented, or your mother's demented, and that's that, and get used to it. And we try these drugs, and I don't think they work that well if you actually look at the studies. And UCLA did a very interesting study recently where they looked at turmeric.
Okay.
But, India has very little incidences of dementia.
That's interesting.
And what they did is they put an oil molecule in that turmeric so it can cross the blood-brain barrier.
Wow.
Now, this was in the U.S., 80 patients at an Alzheimer's unit, and after 4 months, 60 of the 80 went home because they lost their diagnosis.
Wow.
But it's looking at some basic biochemistry and saying, I'm not happy with the status quo. I remember when I grew up, I had a car that, I couldn't get it to run, took it to the shop, they couldn't get it to run. Did I just junk it? No. A bunch of the buddies come over, we work on Saturdays, we finally got the car going.
Great.
And I think that's what I'm saying, to everyone really is this. You're responsible for your health.
Yes.
And, I went into medicine to get people better. And the doctor you don't work for the doctor works for you.
Okay, let's say that one more time very loudly and clearly, because we all need permission for that. Say it again.
All right, you don't work for the doctor works for you. And I think, you need to just say, listen, you're not getting in better, what are you going to do? We treat our cars better than our bodies. You take it to the guy, and he works on your brakes, and they still squeak, you go back one more time, they still squeak, you're going to go somewhere else. The other guy, the doctor, he didn't get me better, I go back again, I've been going to him for 30 years, the diabetes was a little bit of elevated blood sugar, now I'm on 5, medicines plus insulin for my diabetes, and we think we're getting better, and I'm thinking, maybe I came from another planet, but to me that's not getting better.
Right. So how do we as human beings take charge of our health with our doctor when we visit our doctor? What should we be saying?
Well, I think what you want to say is, first of all, and I had to watch this in medical school and in my residency. We got this God complex. Don't question me. And so interview your doctor, and if he gets very upset because you read something on the internet or heard something on TV, then you probably don't want to see a guy like that. Listen, I learned tons of things from my patients. And ask him where he's getting his information. We all work from a so-called Bible. What are you using as your source of medicine? Is it the good-looking girl with the short dress that comes in from the drug company? Is it the journals? Is it the biochemistry textbooks? Ask them where they're getting their medical, information from. And that's going to tell you a lot, because even in the journals I found out that what the abstract says and what the article says are completely different.
Okay. So, Marcy,
Yes.
where does this bring you to the art of healing and empowering caregivers with their healthcare practitioners?
I try to help them. I listen to what their problems are and then try to help them work through it, giving them different questions.
Sometimes they don't feel like they have a right to have a voice.
Exactly.
And you're
So
that active.
sometimes going to the appointments with them, I really do encourage people to have a professional geriatric care manager work with them, because when you're in that doctor appointment, your brain kind of shuts down. And you need somebody there taking notes,
Right.
asking the deep questions. And so as an advocate, stepping forward and saying, what can we do to help you really get better, to keep out of the crisis? The key is not how you always handle the crisis. What can you do to stay out of the crisis?
More of the preventative.
Exactly.
And even for people our age, say the early baby boomers, we need a buddy to go with us too, because sometimes we're going to appointments that have very critical information and you may not hear everything. So I encourage you to bring a friend with you, just to be able to take notes and really listen to what's going on. So it's not just always the elderly, it could also be us at any age.
Exactly. I think not being afraid to ask the question. I do think, like Dr. Young said, we are afraid to say something to our doctor, afraid to ask him the question. Don't be afraid to ask the hard question. If you have researched on the internet,
Right.
tell them. The last time I saw my doctor, they said, read everything you can on the internet.
You may have someone in your family who's a doctor, and they may
Exactly.
have an opinion as well, and then you might
Yes.
be able to share that with them.
Yes, don't
Is
be
that-
afraid of looking outside the box.
So, Dr. Young, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Be prepared for your appointment.
Be prepared.
Yeah, have your questions. As we're closing this segment today, is there something else you would like to share with our listeners and viewers and our audience?
Well, I think it's just this idea that, you are responsible for your health. The insurance company is not going to be responsible, the doctor, but you are responsible for your health. And that's why, you need to get out there and start researching or learn all you can. Because as physicians, we only know so much. I know it's hard to believe, but we don't know everything.
We think you know everything.
I'm laying the cat out of the bag.
Oh, you are. And we like it.
But the thing is, and the other thing is, just don't say, hey, that's the final word for it. Listen, I have learned so much from the European physicians. There's doctors here that say you cannot do anything with a torn meniscus, and the Europeans say you want a meniscus to heal in the knee, you can do this. I've done it, and the meniscus, regenerates. You just have to know that there's just a ton of information out there. There's 8,000 medical articles come out every single day.
And how could they get to those articles? How can we, as the layperson, get to articles?
I think there's a company out there, or I think it's VitaTruth, VITATRUTH. But they put out something every couple days. They put about journals from about 80 different countries. If you call our office, 727-545-4600, I think they can give you where we get that. But
call your office.
it's just being aware. You'll be surprised that a lot of things that we think there's nothing you can do tremendous things for.
So do you use supplements with your practice?
I do supplements, but before I do that, my job is to give you the best cell membrane, the best immune system I can give you, and that came from the 31 Nobel Prize in medicine, which is a low-heat protein combined with a flaxseed oil.
Okay.
Everybody's taking these oil capsules.
Yes.
It violates basic biochemistry. Maybe
Really?
the biochemistry books are wrong. But to absorb an oil, you have to emulsify it in a protein. When you eat fish, you cut the fish and here's the oil compartment and then here's the meat. It's always emulsified.
Together. Okay.
And we're violating so many things that we do in so-called holistic medicine because it's the Madison Avenue. Doc, I know I'm really sick, but can you just give me a pill?
Yes. Quick fix.
So with us, when we really remade the cell membrane, we did extremely well with diabetes. And insurance companies run a 13% compliance, we run a 70% compliance.
Okay.
So.
Any other illness that keeps popping up where people can use more supplements to help them?
Well, Alzheimer's, dementia.
Okay.
There's some great things out there that the Europeans have been doing. We've been doing, had great success. Very interesting studies done by the Mayo Clinic, November 1911. Very good article on low-dose progesterone. Had a lady with dementia, Parkinson's, well-known in the U.S. military, head of the rocket division, and lost her job because of it. And just going back to the use of low-dose progesterone, it took us 5 minutes to turn her from a lady who couldn't even walk to she could talk. And I remember saying, "Whoa, John, my mind just came back." And her husband, I talked to him later, he said, "John, I thought you were a charlatan, but maybe not anymore." But you know, there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of research out there. But because there's not a whole lot of money in progesterone, your doctor's never going to do anything about it, even though it's in well-respected journals.
And they wouldn't necessarily think to use it in that capacity. That's the other
Right.
piece.
You know, I think one of the things that, you know, God's blessed me with is the ability to kind of think outside the box.
Good. Okay.
And if you're going to get people better, sometimes it helps to be able to do that.
So if someone wants to make an appointment with you for their own health that are here today or listening or watching, how do they reach you?
They're all healthy, so they don't need me.
Okay. They may need someone who needs some help.
727-545-4600. For a good time, call. No. 545.
Oh, Marcy,
4600.
growing up with your brother, it just must have been a ball.
Definitely. It was challenging.
I bet it was. So tell us, you know, as we're closing this segment today, some thoughts about what John maybe had to say, maybe some remarks or comments.
I think it's so key in being proactive for your health. So many times we ignore that little ache we feel or something, and we continue to age with
Yes.
these aches and pains. But anytime you can stay on top of things, I recommend, you know, really pursuing, thinking outside the box and going and seeing a physician that's willing to walk with you through some of these challenges.
If someone wants to get more information about the Palms of Largo and maybe your services there as a nurse liaison, a clinical liaison, how does the best way for them to reach you, Marcy? They may have some direct questions.
It's basically going through our main number,
Okay.
I believe. I don't call the number myself.
Okay.
727-437-1600, I believe.
Okay, that's great.
That's the best way, and then we can go from there.
Okay, terrific. Thank you so much again for being our guest today. And I do want to let you know that I forgot to include with Kathy Harmony Home Health's information. If you're interested to learn more about them, it's www.harmonyhh.com, and their main number is 727-723-7532. I think we're coming to a close, and I just want to thank again all of our wonderful sponsors and our guests today. You know, one of my goals is always to help create abundance for you in health, wealth, and well-being. And you can always reach me at the caregiverhour.com website, but you can always, email me at kim@thecaregiverhour.com. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here.